In the heart of Largo, Florida, where palm trees sway and the sun beats down on bustling streets, a mystery unfolded that would grip the community in a chokehold of fear and suspicion. Stephen Cozy, a well-respected attorney at Blanchard Law, vanished without a trace on March 21st, 2023, in what seemed like an ordinary moment during an ordinary workday. He stepped away from his desk for a quick bathroom break, leaving behind his phone, wallet, and keys, items that screamed he'd be back in minutes. But minutes turned to hours, and Stephen never returned. What followed was a chilling investigation that peeled back the polished veneer of a shared office space on Belcher Road, revealing a web of professional rivalries, hidden grudges, and a trail of blood that pointed to a man who called himself Dr. Tampa Bay. Stephen Cozy was no stranger to the legal world. A graduate of Stetson University College of Law, he'd carved out a reputation as a compassionate, meticulous attorney specializing in employment and civil law. Colleagues at Blanchard Law described him as a guy who'd stay late to help a client, the one who'd coach new hires with a smile, the one whose laughter could lighten a tense meeting. Outside the office, Stephen was a devoted husband to Michael Montgomery, a dog lover, and an avid hiker who cherished time with friends. His life was steady, predictable, until it wasn't. His sudden disappearance was so out of character that it sent shockwaves through his tight-knit circle. Jake Blanchard, his boss and friend, was gutted. Stephen was family, Jake said, his voice cracking during a vigil. This happened on my watch, in my office. I can't wrap my head around it. The morning of March 21st started like any other. Stephen arrived at Blanchard Law around 8:30 a.m., settled into his office, and began tackling a packed schedule. Emails piled up, documents needed review, and a critical 10:30 a.m. conference call loomed, a call tied to a contentious lawsuit that had been brewing for months. The case pitted Stephen, representing the Lehrer Institute of Plastic Surgery, against Dr. Tom Kasowski, a flamboyant plastic surgeon known online as Dr. Tampa Bay. The lawsuit was a bitter feud over negligence and fraudulent misrepresentation, with Tom claiming the Lehrer Institute's sloppy insurance billing had tanked his reputation. Stephen, ever professional, was prepared for the call, but colleagues noticed a flicker of nerves beneath his calm exterior. Nothing, however, suggested he was walking into a trap. At 10 a.m., Stephen excused himself to use a restroom, a routine trip he'd made thousands of times in his 6 years at Blanchard Law. His desk, a snapshot of his life, held his phone, wallet, and keys, all neatly arranged, signaling his intent to return. But when 10:30 came and went without Stephen dialing into the call, alarm bells rang. Jake and others searched the office, then the building. His car sat untouched in the parking lot. The bathroom, their next stop, offered the first chilling clue. A sharp, overwhelming smell of bleach hung in the air, as if someone had scrubbed the place raw. Worse, a small patch of the floor revealed what the cleaner had missed. Droplets of blood, later confirmed to be Stephen's. The Largo Police Department descended on the scene, treating the bathroom as a potential crime scene. Forensic teams swept the area, finding more blood traces outside the restroom, all matching Stephen's DNA. Surveillance footage from the building's sparse cameras painted a grim picture. At 8:30 a.m., a man dressed in black, wearing gloves and carrying a backpack, entered the office. 2 hours later, he reappeared, dragging a heavy cart or bin, his face obscured. The footage was grainy, but the implications were clear. This wasn't a random visitor. The police had a missing person, blood evidence, and a suspicious figure, but no body and no clear answers. The investigation zeroed in on Tom Kasowski, the plastic surgeon locked in a legal battle with Stephen. Tom, a 44-year-old from Tarpon Springs, was a paradox. A Dartmouth-educated surgeon with a flair for self-promotion, he'd built a social media empire as Dr. Tampa Bay. His Instagram and YouTube channels, boasting thousands of followers, showcased his surgeries, his lifestyle, and his ego. "Hey, my social media army," he'd crow in videos, flaunting high-profile implants or celebrating milestones like hitting 4,000 followers. But behind the polished persona was a man who didn't take criticism lightly. When a billing clerk at the Lehrer Institute botched his insurance claims in 2016, costing him thousands and sparking negative reviews, Tom's career took a hit. He blamed the Institute, sued them, and found himself facing off against Stephen Cozy in court. Tensions between the two had been simmering for months. In January 2023, a heated argument erupted between Tom and Stephen in Blanchard Law's common area, witnessed by colleagues. Tom's frustration was palpable. He saw Stephen as a face of a legal fight that threatened his livelihood. More damning, an employee from a neighboring office reported seeing Tom lurking in a utility closet near the bathroom a week before Stephen vanished. Fingerprints found in the closet confirmed Tom had been there, suggesting he'd cased the building, planning something sinister. The police obtained search warrant for Tom's home and vehicles, and what they uncovered was a house of horrors. In his garage, they found traces of Stephen's blood mixed with Tom's DNA, hinting at a cleanup attempt. His pickup truck held more blood evidence. A red Toyota Corolla, bought in cash weeks earlier and never registered, sported a license plate flipping device and a plate linked to a deceased person, a setup straight out of a crime thriller. When Tom was arrested on March 25, 2024, he was carrying $280,000 in cash, face masks, duct tape, firearms, a bloodstained ballistic vest, and a syringe loaded with succinylmethonium chloride, a paralytic drug used in surgeries. His home yielded 200 firearms, an arsenal that raised eyebrows even among gun enthusiasts. "Collector or not, that's excessive," a detective muttered. The prosecution's theory was brutal. Tom, consumed by resentment over the lawsuit, plotted Stephen's murder. He slipped into Blanchard Law that morning, hid in a utility closet, and waited. When Stephen entered the bathroom, Tom struck, attacking him violently and paralyzing him with a drug. The blood splatter told a story of a struggle. Tom then stuffed Stephen's body into the cart, cleaned the bathroom with bleach, and hauled the evidence to his truck. License plate readers tracked his movements. His truck, with what looked like a body in the bed, was spotted near his home, then in Miami, 300 miles away. A garbage truck's footage showed a large bag, consistent with a wrapped body, being dumped in a Collier County landfill, a stop on the route to Miami. The Everglades, a vast and unforgiving wilderness, was another possible dumping ground. But the case wasn't airtight. Stephen's body was never found, and no one saw him leave the building. The last confirmed sighting was him entering the bathroom, alive. The evidence, while compelling, was circumstantial. Tom pleaded not guilty, and his defense team argued Stephen's disappearance could have been voluntary, a desperate bid to escape the pressures of his life. They pointed to the lack of a body and questioned why a successful surgeon would risk everything over a $15,000 lawsuit. "It's irrational," Tom's attorney, Robert Camerino, told the press. "My client is a respected doctor, not a monster. Keep an open mind." The controversy surrounding the case ignited fierce debates. On social media, Tom's followers rallied, painting him as a victim of a witch hunt. "Dr. Tampa Bay is a genius, not a killer." One Instagram post read, racking up thousands of likes. Others saw a darker side, pointing to his obsession with control and his history of lashing out at critics. A former colleague from the Lehrer Institute whispered to investigators about Tom's God complex, his refusal to accept blame, and his fixation on his public image. The lawsuit, they argued, wasn't just about money, it was personal. Stephen, by defending the Institute, had become Tom's scapegoat. Meanwhile, Stephen's loved ones grapple with grief and outrage. At a vigil organized by the St. Petersburg Bar Association on March 29th, 2023, Michael Montgomery stood before a sea of candles, his voice trembling as he shared memories of Stephen's warmth and wit. "I'm meeting him again through your stories," Michael said, tears streaming. "He fought for the underdog, always." Colleagues recounted Stephen's late-night case prep, his knack for diffusing tension with a joke, his quiet strength. The community demanded justice. But whispers of doubt lingered. Could Stephen have walked away? Or was Tom's polished persona a mask for a calculating killer? As Tom's trial loomed on April 17, 2025, the case took on a life of its own. Court documents hinted at new evidence, phone records perhaps, or more forensic findings, but details remained sealed. The prosecution pushed for the death penalty, confident in their narrative of premeditated murder. Tom's defense, however, prepared to sow doubt, leveraging the missing body and the lack of direct witnesses. "This is a tragedy, not a conviction," Camerino insisted. "The truth is murkier than the state claims." The mystery of Stephen Cozy's disappearance is a labyrinth of motives and shadows. Did Tom Kosowski, a man who thrived in the spotlight, snap under the weight of legal feud? Or is there a deeper truth buried in the unmonitored corners of that office, the untracked miles of Tom's truck, or the depths of the Everglades? For now, Largo holds its breath, waiting for answers that may never come.